Good evening. Today is the 26th of my beginner guitar lessons, and we'll be looking at we've looked at the pentatonic shapes. We looked about a lot about patterns and all that. So today we're looking at application. I promised us yesterday, and I think 2 days back also in the last 2 videos, that we'll be looking at practicality of these things. So how do you solo with all these things that I mentioned, the pentatonic scale and all that, the major scale. What I just did, I did something similar in one of my earlier videos within this 30 days challenge, and today's it's a little bit similar, but it's using what we call triad, not triad in the triadic sense, but you see basically 3 notes, just picking 3 notes within the major scale to form rhythm you get. So if, say for instance, 3 chords are playing within a chord progression, the chords are let's say in key C you have, okay, let's say in key C you have do, you have do, you have you have let's say you have something like this. Let me make it do, fa, so, fa, do. That's what I played in the triadic pattern that I used. So let me use that pattern, do. Basically these are triadic shapes though, but it's called, let me call them chord because of how I played it. How can you translate for the one that wants to solo? How can you solo with it within the chord notes of this chord progression? This is what I just did is in key C. So let me trace down the key of C here. This G sharp, A sharp, B, E, C. So with the progression I played is do, fa, so, fa, do. So you can just play something like this within there. Okay, let me explain what I'm just basically doing now. Within that same chord, if you pay attention, you see if I had a backing track, I don't have a backing track now basically, okay? But if I had a backing track, what would have been the case? I think that's one of the things I have to start doing. I did a little bit of that yesterday, but I can't do that today because of my phone, okay? So, but if I had a backing track, you would have observed that progression that I played, these notes that I'm picking would have followed, and that's what soloing is basically all about. So I'm playing the chord notes of each chord within that chord progression. Remember I started with do, so when it's the time of do, I just play simply in the key of do. You have do, mi, so is basically the notes in the key of do. In the do in any chord progression, okay, the 3 notes that make up do is simply do, mi, so, okay. In key of C now it is C, E, G, okay. So I simply just play those notes. Any of the notes within that do chord at that particular point in time. When it gets to fa, I'll just then start playing the notes within the fa. and the notes within the fa is F, F, A, F, A, G. G, F, F, A, C, B, C. That's fa, la, do. This is for G, that's the saw in key of C. G, T, that's B notes, and E, that's C sharp, and D, that's G, B, D. So let's go again. This D chord, fa now, saw chord, then back to fa. What you just have to do is to be adding slow and other patterns to make it sound better. Okay, so but if you observe what I'm doing, this is just simplified version. So I'll just play the notes. I'm just playing around the notes around that chord too. Then it's back down to fa. So what I'm just doing now is la, la, do, la. That is A, C, A, C, A, C. La, la, do. This fa. This is so now. And you can also play it in reverse fashion. Now I'm playing do, mi, so. I can play so, mi, do. Okay. Just a rough play of basic soloing within the major scale, ensuring that you're playing the chord notes within that scale. I hope you got value from this video. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.